On this episode of Backlog Review, we're going to be checking out Sly Cooper Thieves in Time on the PS3. I'm just going to get right out of the gate with this game. I love this game. I've mentioned on the podcast with Shane that I'm a new major fan of the Sly Cooper games, and this game is a really amazing addition to the original trilogy. This game isn't actually developed by Sucker Punch, who developed the original games. This one is done by Zanzaru Games, which they made the HD collection on the PS3 and Vita and the other versions, I assume. And this game feels like it was made by Sucker Punch. The gameplay is super tight. It's the same great feeling platforming that was captured on the PS2, just upgraded for the modern gen of the PS3 whenever it was new. And while the gameplay was upgraded to the 7th gen hardware, so were so many other aspects of the game, like the cutscenes, for instance. The cutscenes are now this great animated style instead of it just being like still images or in-game sort of cutscenes. They're these great animated cutscenes that look like they could have been taken from a TV show. I know we're getting a Sly Cooper TV show at some point, so that will be really interesting to see if they keep like a similar sort of style. But it makes the story so much more engaging and so much more fun and colorful. The characters, they have great interaction moments. All the heroes, Murray and Sly and everybody, all interact really great together in this game. The villains get really good backstories again. I know like over some of the games it's sort of like peaks and valleys with the villains that you encounter, but each of them have really cool stories and they're really cool heist-themed villains, which is always great. The story takes Sly and the gang going back into the past to get Sly's relatives, who there's some sort of maliciousness that's been forming that's going back in the past and sort of changing history, and the Thievius Raccoonus is disappearing, so Sly and the gang are going back to try to fix it. And also you get to see a bunch of Sly's ancestors, and you get to play as them too, which is awesome. Each of the ancestors offer their own unique gameplay mechanics, and at the end, minor spoiler, you get to play a mission where basically all of them get to come together, so you really get to get this wide amount of gameplay variety from just the playable characters. The levels are amazing in this game, so many different time periods with time travel. I'm a big fan of just time travel in general, and so that being incorporated into the level design is really awesome. There's medieval levels, an Arab level, there's a prehistoric past, all sorts of stuff. They're not necessarily open world. If you've played other Sly Cooper games, you know that they have like certain maps and you go into certain buildings at different mission points and stuff like that, but it's like an open little hub area. In this game, they are bigger and more detailed than in games past, and it just makes all the levels stand out, and they're really well designed. You can traverse anywhere, you can do all sorts of cool stuff, you can do all sorts of fun and cool platforming moves, and it's just amazing. I have a couple of minor nitpicks / gripes with the game though. It's not a perfect game, even though I like it a lot. The biggest, most obnoxious one right out the gate is the loading screens. There's a lot of loading screens and they are not short. They take sometimes upwards of like 30 seconds to a minute to load, and that can get really annoying when you're doing it like every for like every mission that you have to load in, every time you load the game, every time you change things. So that gets a little annoying. It would have been nice to have shorter loading screens, obviously. I ran into a couple of audio glitches with this game too. Characters' dialogue would just disappear, and that's never fun whenever you're trying to get invested into the story and then it's just muted and you hear music and random audio sounds happening. So that's also something worth noting. And also one thing that I do need to point out about this game that I really didn't like is some of the missions require you to use a 6-axis controller, which is basically the standard DualShock 3. I do not have one of those controllers. I had to borrow it from Shane. I have a third-party controller and it doesn't have 6-axis built in, which means that I was locked out of being able to progress through the game until I had the 6-axis controller to be able to do the mission that I was stuck on. I hate that. As I play more and more PS3 games, I noticed that a couple of them just lock you out of being able to play the game until you have this little motion gyro controller, and that's really annoying, and I would hope that no other games get forced into doing that. It just seems like it's a really stupid thing in that they weren't really considering people that don't have DualShock 3 controllers. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed my time with Sly Thieves in Time. I know it's sort of like a mixed title among a lot of people, but I really don't see that. I think this is a great addition to the original trilogy, and I really hope that Sanzaru Games comes back maybe in the PS5 or something and makes a new Sly Cooper game. I would absolutely love that, and I would absolutely take more Sly Cooper. So yeah, if you've never played this, definitely pick it up. You can get it on the Vita, I believe, as well as the PS3. So if for whatever reason you have either of those and you've never played this, definitely pick up Sly Thieves in Time.